Well, the numbers are in, 415,000 in just under 6 months. I'm going to show you all exactly how I did it. What's going on, y'all? I'm Braden Wirch. If this is your first time to my channel, make sure you hit subscribe. I continue to push out insane value to grow you financially and personally as well. So the numbers are in. On my best store, my most profitable dropshipping store on Shopify, I did 415,000 in just under 6 months. We started probably about September 5th through September 7th, somewhere right in that range. I do have 2 other stores. One I started before this one, and then another store I use primarily for testing, but this is by far my most profitable store. And I'm going to go ahead and cover today the key to success. And the key for what I found and watching other YouTubers and certain courses, I've noticed a lot of people covering the same things like product research, niche selection, which is all super valuable, but people aren't covering some of the basics, the core basics, which you absolutely need. So I'm going to go ahead and cover those today so you know exactly what to do to create a professional and profitable dropshipping store. So number one, the first thing I always do when creating a new store, and what I did for this store, was the foundation. And the foundation is creating an incredibly professional looking dropshipping store. And so one problem I've seen when reviewing people's stores is it looks like they spent literally like 2-3 hours on it and called it a day and just started running ads to it, and that's just not enough time. I recommend you take your time when setting up the foundation. One, Shopify gives you a free trial, and then 2, if your free trial ends before you've set up your store, it's really not that much money compared to when you're actually going to start running ads. It'd be better for you to get the foundation set up than you waste a lot of money when starting ads. That means, go ahead and optimize your pictures. You use high definition pictures. I see a lot of stores that their pictures are blurry, they're not compressed or optimized. Make sure you have enough products on your store. Don't launch a store with just like 10 to 20 products. You need more products than that. Make sure you have the foundation set up. Do your product descriptions before you start running ads. Make sure you have product descriptions. The point here is make sure you take your time when setting up your store. You need to put yourself in the customer's shoes. Think if the customer can't trust your store, and if it's cold traffic and they're landing on your store, you've got to be able to sell them. So you sell them with professional looking store, good pictures, great product description. You need to go ahead and use copy that will definitely sell the customer. If you don't have those things, it doesn't matter if you have a winning product or you have the most amazing ad strategy. If you don't have professional looking store, the customer will not trust your store and will not buy from you. So the next thing is brand. And this is extremely important after you've launched and you've found winning products. This is how you continue to make profits. I see a lot of stores come and go. They might make quite a bit of money right in the beginning and then they die out. So with brand, make sure you set up an Instagram page and continue to feed it. You want to keep that growing. Set up a Facebook page. Make sure that's fed and you're constantly growing. If you've got a winning product, the ads itself will help grow the following, but you also need to be doing daily posts. Keep your Instagram really consistent. Make sure you have a professional logo. I personally use Tailor Brands. There's great logo makers out there. You can use Fiverr, but for a great, simple, cheap logo that I think looks professional, I use TailorBrands.com. I've also used Fiverr for many of my logos on my personal brand, so I do recommend that as well. Make sure you use your logo on your Instagram, your Facebook, everything. And this goes for cover photos. I see a lot of people, they'll have a slideshow or they won't use consistent photos. Make sure, like I use a very consistent header. So my main cover photo on my Shopify store, I have as my cover photo on Facebook. I make sure it's usually the first post on my Instagram, I just make sure that everything stays consistent. You're building a brand. You want to be the go-to brand for whatever niche you're in. So, you know, let's say you're in the watch niche or the sunglass niche. You want to become, yeah, you're not going to be Ray-Ban and have, you know, your logo on it, which, I mean, you can do either print on demand or do private labeling and add that in. I haven't done that for this store, but one of my other stores, I do also incorporate private label products and print on demand. But make sure that you are the go-to store for that niche. You know, you're going to be selling to people all over the world. So a lot of people are looking for discounted products, but they want a store they can trust. That's the go-to store for whatever niche. And that's why I suggest when you find, you know, a winning product, let's say you're in a mid-level niche or even a general store, niche down. So, you know, if you've been in an apparel store and then you find sunglasses sell really well, niche down to a sunglass store. That'll create a really, really strong, powerful brand. And this is also a technique I use to create a brand, and I've done that for this store. I'll create a few print-on-demand products, and I don't expect them to sell. But I use print-on-demand products that have my logo, and I make them centered on the home page. That way, people see my logo on products. It just gives that brand validity. It validates the brand, makes you seem like a bigger store, a bigger name brand. So the next thing is consistency. So make sure you find a winning ad strategy, a very, very efficient and effective ad strategy, and stick to it. I see a lot of people there just continuing to bounce around, and anytime they get hit down, they react and completely change up their strategy, and they're dead. Make sure whatever you found works in the beginning, keep that consistent. And this goes for products even. I have products that right when I started the store are still selling really well. And then I found other products along the way that also sell. And that goes for a brand. The bigger brand you have, the more you can sell products. You've got your email list, everything on the back end. But make sure you stay consistent. And the last thing is adapting. So this is especially true for Facebook ads. So if you've been drop shipping for a while, or even in the digital marketing space for a while, you know that Facebook does updates to their ad manager quite a bit. And I'm sure if you were in the game last summer or early fall, you know, you saw that the ad performance and the cost per ads was way lower. You need to be able to go ahead and adapt. So whenever Facebook makes an update, or say Google makes an update, whatever changes, you need to be able to go ahead and adapt to that change. Use your consistent approach, but adapt it a little bit. And so for me, you know, that ended up, I needed to find other winning products. I actually changed where I was selling, the countries I was selling. I changed many things up, and I was able to adapt to the different changes that Facebook made. And so that kind of brings me to my last point. Instagram influencers are great. They're great in the beginning for seasoning your pixel a little bit. I don't actually like to use them for seasoning my pixel, but they're good for that a little bit. And then for making sales right in the beginning. You know, you can get up to $5,000 to $1,000 days using Instagram influencers. But if you want to have really consistent high sales every day, you need an effective ad strategy. You need to go to Facebook, you need to go to Google. Whatever your ad strategy is, you need to have a consistent ad strategy, or your sales aren't going to be consistent. You might have a high day and then a really low day, and you don't want that. If you're running a business that you potentially want to have a few years from now, or you want to be able to sell, you need to go ahead and have a consistent approach that you've got consistent sales. So that wraps up this video. Those are definitely the key ways that I grew this drop shipping store to $415,000 in just under 6 months. You guys can definitely do this. I see a lot of people overcomplicating things. My biggest piece of advice I give people is come at this as, rather than a get-rich-quick scheme, which I see a lot of people doing, rather than get rich quick, think of this as an actual business. Treat it like an actual business. Don't rush in the beginning just so you can run ads and make sales. You know, take a very, very meticulous approach with everything you do. Treat it like a business. If you treat it like a business, you'll be rewarded for it. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got value out of it. Definitely go ahead and implement these things if you haven't already. These are huge basics that you need to have down. So make sure you like this video, hit subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure you grind always, and keep checking out my videos for more insane value. Alright guys, see you in the next video.